Hey everyone, Dan at Bushcraft. Well, what I just was demonstrating for you guys is what I call the improved Paiute deadfall. Now on a traditional Paiute deadfall, got a couple sticks here. This stick, the one that is holding the rock up in the air, that has your trigger with a bait stick holding the rock, usually rests the traditional Paiute deadfall on top of another stick. So basically, there'll be a notch here. This will be carved into what you would call a beaver tail. There's tons of videos if you guys want to look at the traditional Paiute deadfall, or just type it in on Google, pictures, videos, everything will come up. It's in most survival books. But there'll be a notch in this piece of wood, and this piece of wood will be carved into what's called a beaver tail. And so these are all moving parts that can go from side to side, forward, back. There's a lot of parts that can fall. What we've done, and I'll show you here in just a second, is we've improved this by eliminating one of the moving parts. This piece here is no longer a moving part. Rather than a carved piece of wood that is just balancing on the ground, we have a Y stick, like so, hammered into the ground. So this is sitting down into a Y stick, and the Y stick is hammered into the ground, so that part is no longer a moving part. It is rock solid. It cannot fall forward, it cannot fall back, it cannot fall from side to side, and the Y is limiting the amount of movement that this branch can make. So it's faster to make because you don't have to carve the parts. It's easier to set up, usually. Murphy's Law. Now that I am doing this on camera, it'll probably give me fits, but it is quicker and easier to set up, and it is more stable because you've eliminated one of the moving parts. So I'm going to try to readjust you guys, set this up, show it to you again, and then we'll break it down because I have the Y stick hammered down into the ground solid right now. And once I pull that up out of the ground, I'll have to move everything to a new location to rehammer it in. So I'm going to reverse engineer this and start from the end and work backwards. So let me try to get you guys back at a good angle where I can show you a little bit more and we can break this down. Okay, I'm trying to get everything at the right angle so you guys can see. So right here, I have a Y stick, and it is pounded into the ground solid. And I'm going to show you how we did that. So to pound a Y stick into the ground and keep it from breaking, best way to do it using the back of your hatchet. Not to hit this directly, because that can break off these Ys, but is to take another stick, set it in the middle of the Y, and hammer this stick. That gets my Y stick down into the ground without breaking it. So I got a nice Y stick here. This piece sits in the Y stick, so it can only go this way so far, rather than being balanced on another stick, where this stick is now a moving part and can fall right or left, forward or back. We've eliminated one of the moving parts. The Y stick cannot move, and it helps limit this. Now this can still go right to the left some, but not when it's balanced on another piece of wood. So let's see if Murphy's Law is going to give me a bad time this morning, or if it's going to let me set this up again without busting my knuckles, because that's a heavy rock. I probably didn't need a rock that heavy for the small chipmunks and things out here. But I'll try it. Now this time I'm going to try to put the trigger on the other side. Let's see if that will work or not. Well, we're getting close. Okay, so we got it. So, peanut butter on the bait stick. That's what I like to use out here. The chipmunks, the squirrels absolutely love peanut butter, and a slight breeze carries the scent. The squirrels and chipmunks are running up and down the trees. Mice are out, there's gophers. They'll smell that peanut butter, they'll get curious. And if one smells it and the others see that one of them has found food, they'll come over too. They'll get curious. So I got peanut butter in here. The squirrel comes underneath. Well, I need a longer stick. I don't want to get my hand. But he comes underneath and he starts gnawing on that peanut butter, and he moves the stick like so. Ooh, I barely got my hand out of there. So the important part on this one is this rock needs to be back far enough to where it won't hit the Y stick, because your Y stick is hammered into the ground. So if your rock's too far forward, comes down, that's not going to do you any good. So you need to make sure that the rock is back far enough so that when it falls, it misses this stick. It can be right up next to it like here, but it misses it. And you know, if I need a taller trap because I want something bigger, then I can turn the whole trap this way, and I've got a much taller trap, maybe for a bigger squirrel or something. Oh, that just sent my stick about 6 feet through the air. Hang on, guys. So you find the best rock you can. The only perfect rocks are the ones that you find in survival manuals. Out here, you're not going to find, very, very rarely, a perfect rock. So like this one is leaner to this side. Kind of got to wiggle me out a little trench in the dirt, and then it'll stay. And I'll need, if I'm going to do it this way, I need a different bait stick, because obviously this one's not going to be long enough now. The way I had it this way, it was just right. So your Y stick prevents this part from being a moving part, which just makes it a little easier to set up. And then, however you decide to do it, see if we can do it 3 times without getting my hands. That'd be like a record. Oh, this one's gonna spin. 3 times without getting my knuckles, I think, would be a personal record. Look at that. I guess it's the first time I've done 3 times in a row without getting my knuckles. So I turned the rock a little bit different this time, but this rock's nice and long, and what I can do is I could put another rock here. Now that'd be blocking your guys' view, and another rock here. So the chipmunk, we'll say chipmunk, there's a lot of little tiny chipmunks out here. He has to come in, and he's no longer got an escape route to the right or left. He would have to retreat backwards. But he comes in and he starts gnawing on his peanut butter. Ooh, I got my fingers over on this side, so it wasn't 3 times. And oh, just to show you guys. So it's not only your fingers here you got to watch when you're setting the trap, but don't have your hand resting down right here where the rock's going to fall on it when you're triggering it for a video. So I got myself pretty good. I'm going to pause you guys for a second and clean this up. Okay guys, I got a little makeshift bandage on, but if you've done Paiute deadfalls or any kind of deadfalls, you know that things like that happen. These things, especially on the traditional Paiute deadfall where you have one stick balanced on another, setting these things and having it constantly trigger as you're trying to balance it, rock to the right, rock to the left, happens, and
you're inevitably probably going to get your hands. What I was doing is I was watching the camera and not paying attention at all that I had this hand exactly where the rock was going to fall. So you do have to watch your knuckles and stuff. But just to show you guys here, so we've done the trap 3 times now. Basically, all of your parts are set up like a traditional Paiute deadfall. Lots of videos on that. You have your balance stick here. I'm just using that micro cord from Atwood that I always carry in my pocket. Highly recommend this. I always carry a spool of this. There's like over 100 feet of this. Has like 100-pound braking strength. Comes in a variety of colors. I like the camo. And right inside the butt cap is a place to store your lighter so you can burn your cordage off. And then it has a blade right there built in so you can cut your cord. So I have this in my pocket at all times. So I've always got, 100 feet of cordage with me, 100-pound braking strength. So this piece is just like a traditional Paiute deadfall. Lots of videos, lots of manuals, PDFs you can download. The part that changes is here, and I'm going to pull it out now. So what we've got is a Y stick. Point is sharpened, pounded down into the ground. I showed you guys how to do that. Lay another stick in the middle, hit that stick, and get it down in there to the height. Start out with it kind of tall so that it's not too short, and just pound it into the depth that you need it to be pounded in at. And then once you have that pounded in, then you're ready to set it up again the same way you would a traditional Paiute deadfall. With your balance stick, your trigger, and your bait stick. And you're good to go. So there it is, guys, what I call an improved Paiute deadfall. Again, your moving parts are now -1, one less moving part. This part is the same. This piece is the same, except for you don't have to take the time to carve a notch in it. Your trigger is the same. I usually take my knife and I flatten one side. I've done that there, and that just makes your bait stick sit against here easier. Where this side's rounded, it's more likely to slip off. This side's flat and it's not going anywhere. And your stick that usually sits on the bottom that has a beaver tail is replaced with a nice Y stick, pounded in the ground, one less moving part. We set it up successfully 4 times and only have 1 smashed finger. So guys, Dan at Ochiko Bushcraft, hope you like that. I like doing the Paiute deadfall. I stayed in a camp one night. I have to tell you that there was mice. All the mice would just come out at night and run around the outside. We were in a big canvas tent, so everybody would set up Paiute deadfalls every night and see who could catch the most mice. If someone heard their trap go off during the night, they'd get up and reset it and just have a mouse catching competition. So these Paiute deadfalls do work. And again, this is just a way to eliminate one of the moving parts to make it a little easier and a little faster to set up. Hope you like that tip. If you haven't, please subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. Thank you guys for supporting this channel, and please keep watching. Take care.